Welcome to our podcast, Doing It Right. This podcast reveals authentic stories from successful leaders doing it right. It's about their journey to become a leader, their choices, motivations, and lessons. In essence, how they built successful personal brands. Your host is Valerie Sokolowski, author of 8 leadership books and nationally known as an authority on executive presence and personal branding. Let's get started. Here's Valerie.
Well, hi, how are you? You know, my guest today, Susan Posnick, was already a distinguished New York makeup artist traveling the world, working with models and Hollywood A-list women. And then fast forward to a turning point in Susan's glamorous life, when she found a little dot, she says right about there, and it didn't go away. And that dot altered Susan's journey. Welcome, Susan Posnick, beautiful Susan Posnick, with a beautiful makeup cosmetic line. And we're going to start with that dot. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. I had this little dot on my forehead, and I didn't think it was anything until it kept going away and coming back. Saw the dermatologist. He said, "Oh, I don't think it's anything, but we better biopsy it." So we did that, and then it came back as a skin cancer. And that was a complete shift of life for me. I was someone who couldn't wear chemical sunscreen, and I hated foundation and powder, even though I worked with it every day on every person that I worked with. And I wondered if I could make something for myself initially.
And thank God it went away. And
I had it treated. It's gone. I've had a few more since, not as serious, but they go away. It's just become a part of my life. But now I have products that can protect you from that sun.
well, I want to know about that because melanoma seems to be getting more and more diagnosed, and we all need sunscreen. So how did you go about getting from your wonderful makeup line that you had to, what is it? What is the makeup line now?
So my first product, which is my hero product, which I thought would be my only product, is called Color Flow. And it is sun protection, all natural, zinc oxide, titanium dioxide. It's color pigment for foundation, and it's vitamins for skin treatment. And it's simple, and it's easy, and it's portable, and you can pick it up any time of the day and put it on, and you've got your skin protected, and every time you put it on, your skin looks better, and you feel nothing on your skin.
Well, yours is beautiful, obviously. Gosh, I feel a little intimidated today, I have to tell you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, both myself and Valerie were both. Oh, we're better on makeup. Do a good job here.
Thanks, Anna. I want to know about the term that people have said. Your brand is the what do they say? The Right Now brand. What is that? What is that about? The Right Now brand.
Well, it's very interesting. I started working on these products actually over 20 years ago when I got diagnosed.
Yeah.
And I started going to cosmetic trade shows and talking to different chemists and different people and looking at ingredients. And then also looking at packaging at the same time, because what I wanted to do, I didn't realize at the time, nobody was doing it.
Really?
Nobody was doing it. So I've always liked to have projects. I had no idea that this project was going to become a huge business. So I took myself off to these trade shows, and I met this out-of-the-box chemist, and she showed me these things called minerals, which were not even known about. And then they had a great surgeons, and they became very popular because they're natural and healthy. But I said, okay, well, it's cool. It's color pigment. I mean, I work with that all the time. I'm a makeup artist. But can we put sun protection in? So about 3.5 years later, I had a product, And while I was working on the product, I also wanted to work on a package. And I wanted a package that was portable, a package you could take with you, brush it on, refill, so that it was simple and easy. It's a no-brainer to wear sun protection. And the thing is about sun protection, yes, it does help prevent skin cancer of all kinds, basal cell, squamous cell, and melanoma. But the other thing, the sun is the biggest, how do I want to say this? It's the most likely thing to cause aging and sunspots on the skin. And I think that girls, especially young girls, don't realize that. So I had this line that was very now, a number of years ago, and then other things came up and other things got popular. But the millennials are gravitating to my line because, one, I have a true story. And that story is my own story and why this happened and what I've done. And the other thing is they read ingredients, they want to know about packaging, they want to know what's in the product, and they want things simple and easy. And so I've once again become the line to go to. So it's very exciting because I'm reaching grandmothers, mothers, and daughters.
We all need all of that. How has the business grown? I mean, you're very successful. You're in spas, and where are you all over the country? Tell us.
Spas, apothecaries, specialty retail, hair salons, all through America and also overseas. So it's been an incredible adventure, one that I never didn't expect to have a second career doing this, because my passion has always been makeup.
Well, I want to get back to that in a moment and ask you how you got into makeup in the first place. But before we go there, what is it that has allowed, as an entrepreneur, a lot of entrepreneurs watch this show, and how did your company grow? Were you intentional? Did you have a big marketing campaign? What were your secrets?
I was on a very tight budget. I didn't know what a budget was really, but I was really on a tight budget. I was trying not to spend a lot of money. But I was able to find a beauty rep in New York through someone, and he believed in my first product. And so he took it into his accounts and tried to explain it, because everyone thought, oh, it's just a powder, and a powder makes your skin dry, and what's it going to do? And he explained, as I'm always explaining, it's not a powder. There's no powder ingredients in this. It's crushed up color pigment. It's crushed up natural sun protection. It's crushed up vitamins. So when you put it on, it gives your skin a glow. It doesn't matter if you're 70 or 17, you're still going to get a healthy glow to the skin.
And not only that, we were talking earlier about traveling. I travel, you travel, most people today travel. And you said something that I thought was very interesting. And Valerie, you can carry everything you need for 3 months in this little bag. So I asked her to bring this little bag that I could carry everything in for 3 months, because I really didn't believe it. So what is it? I want everyone to see it.
So most women have at least one drawer of makeup, right?
Oh, at least.
Maybe 2 or 3. But they use the same basic products every day. So I wanted to create products that were multi-use, multi-purpose, and packaging allowed it to be simple and clean. So I know some of you will see this and they'll go, oh my God, that's so much stuff, I'd never carry it. Well, it's my company, so I always carry everything. But what's in here is enough product that will last you 3 months. And it's not just enough product, from your foundation to your eye colors, to mascara, to lip, everything, to blush. But you still get choices because of the way the packaging is designed. The other thing is that you always see women at stop signs or stoplights pulling out, their makeup and putting it on in the mirror, right?
Guilty.
Exactly. We're all guilty of it. It's just what it is. So I thought, let me make a clear mesh bag to hold all the products, so that when you're going to grab something, you can actually see what you're going to grab, instead of one of these, feeling around. So everything that I've done really has been very practical, but I've also worked to make it fun. I'm a makeup artist, and I want things to be fun, and I want women to enjoy the ritual of putting on their makeup in 10 minutes or less.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Really?
Susan, do you have that kit like all put together? Can you buy little kits that it's all there, or do you have to buy each individual one to put it in there?
We have from
Just
time
curious.
to time put together kits, but women really like to choose their own colors.
Well, okay.
And so we always have the mesh bag, and we'll guide you through what you might want. But I can help with, we, not just I, my company, we can all help you with foundation colors if you order online, because there's certain basic questions to ask, and then we can pinpoint it. And then we work with you to pick your other colors. But we did try prepackaged kits, and
Didn't work.
no, women like two things, but they didn't like one thing. And so, yeah.
But I can understand that. You are a fun-loving woman. How in the world did you get into this from I Was Born story? I don't care where you take it, but I mean, how does a famous makeup artist become a famous makeup artist? That's really my question.
Okay. So I think I was destined to be in the fashion and beauty. I know I was, to be in fashion and beauty. I remember being in 4th grade and laying out my clothes at night. I mean, that's just what I did. And I liked Barbies. I mean, well, Barbies were just coming on the scene, just when I was growing up. And I liked them, but I didn't like them because they were girly so much and you could play house with them. I liked them because I could fix their clothes and their hair. So I started doing makeup on friends as we became age appropriate, and then theater makeup. And then I graduated college and had no idea of what you could do with makeup. I mean, I was raised in a generation where my father said, you're going to get a degree in teaching or nursing, something that you can use that girls do. So that's what I believed. And I knew if I did makeup that I could only end up behind a counter. I was very wrong, but I grew up in a big town in Massachusetts, and the opportunities weren't there. So I went to college in Boston, and I graduated with a teaching degree. And I decided to go off to St. Croix to teach school because I have a sense of adventure.
Because you're fun.
Well, I like to think I'm fun.
Yeah.
So I went off to St. Croix and I started teaching school, which was in itself many other stories and an amazing experience. But while I was there, I started getting to know this husband and wife, and he was from Liechtenstein, she was from France. And they had opened a beautiful, beautiful store, one in St. Thomas and one in St. Croix. And they carried the best of luxury goods, whether it was clothing, furniture, or jewelry, beautiful jewelry, costume and real. And they had the Christian Dior makeup line. And so he said, you need to get off this island. You're 20. I went when I was 20 years old and I had graduated college. He said, you can't stay here. He said, it's really not a healthy place. It's beautiful, but not healthy. He said, what do you want to do? And I said, fashion or beauty. And I just kind of said, I think beauty is probably going to be an easier industry to get into. Why I thought that, I don't know. And he said, come into the store. He said, I will teach you. I'll teach you about fabrics. I'll teach you about buying. I'll teach you the basics of what you need to do. And then I'll take you to New York and I'll introduce you to the people I know. And the reason he knew so many people was in the 40s and 50s, he had been a very well-known advertising photographer in New York.
That was your chance.
That was my opportunity. And he had come to St. Croix on a job and fell in love with it and bought a lot of land. And that's where he and his wife settled. So he did. It was about a year and a half later, I guess, maybe 2, that he took me to New York and made first introductions to the cosmetic, people that he knew in the cosmetic industry, and also to photographers that had been mostly his assistants. And while I was in St. Croix, I started really working with the Christian Dior makeup. And I had a natural talent. It was it was a God-given talent. And so in the beginning, with no training, no lessons, no learning from anyone, I just started doing makeup, and people looked good.
And then they came to you and started paying you.
Exactly.
And traveling all over the world with all those people. But you know, Susan, not only have you been doing the makeup and recognized for it in the line, but talk about giving. You are one of the most giving people that I know of in the industry. And in let me look here at my notes because I want to be sure that I'm saying it correctly. In 2018, you received an award for your humanitarian efforts.
I did.
It was the My Aid Humanitarian Award at the Hofburg Palace in Vienna, Austria. How did that feel to be on stage?
Well, I think it was even more than being on stage. Being in Vienna and this whole experience was like being like every little girl's dream of being Cinderella. The ball held over 2,000 people. Everyone was in formal gowns. It was absolutely magnificent. There were multiple rooms of music and people dancing and white gloves. And this honor that I received was for two reasons. It was for developing my Color Flow product and making sun protection so easy. And also our product called Brush on Block, which is invisible sun protection for men and children, so that we can protect the whole family and make it simple and easy. And it was also for talking about skin cancer. I think so many times, not just skin cancer, people are afraid to talk about it. And so for me, it makes it easy to talk about it. I have my own story. I've created something that makes it simple to help protect from skin cancer and hopefully save lives.
So that's quite a vision, and you took that vision and you did something with it, which is totally amazing.
Thank you.
You are respected. I've always wanted to ask a makeup artist this. So when you put on makeup, Susan, and you look in the mirror, what do you see?
It's a very good question. I think even with no makeup on my face, I think that most of the time I'm pretty joyful. And I think you see that joy on my face. I think what makeup does is it really enhances what's already there. It's you better. It's not I don't see makeup as a mask. I think there's a lot of young actresses out there who are promoting makeup, and they do a beautiful job, but they do makeup that I learned to do for photography, not for real life. It's a lot, and I see it as a mask. And as a makeup artist, I love doing it to create it for a photo and create a look, whether it's a period look or a high fashion look. But this is about real life. This is about women who are busy and active, whether it's college or babies or volunteer work or work, whatever it is. And so my goal is always to take 10 minutes really or less and to show a woman how to do that and put her best face forward, because sometimes you don't feel so good inside, but when you put makeup on, the right amount of makeup, you feel better about yourself as well, and you feel more confident. And I have to tell you, I learned a lot of that from Mary Kay.
Tell us about that. You were her makeup artist for 18 years, is that right?
I was her primary makeup artist. I got called to work with her on a video way back when, probably 1979 or 1980, so I'm sort of giving my age. But I was very, very young. I was 14. And I did her makeup, and quite honestly, it was a lot more makeup than I would normally do on people, but I'm a makeup artist, and I did it well. And we got along very well. And she started to request me for makeup, and lo and behold, 18 years later, we spent time traveling around the world. I spent time not on staff with Mary Kay Cosmetics, but still as a freelancer, because I wanted to keep my independence. But I spoke for that company all over the world. I taught classes at their seminars. But I did so much. I worked with them on colors. But the big thing was I was around Mary Kay for 18 years. and I had an opportunity that most people never get to have. And I learned so much from her about being a leader.
What'd you learn?
I learned that people come first. And that and for her it was a bit different, because what Mary Kay did is she empowered women.
She had her story too.
She was put on this earth to do what she did. She empowered women and gave them an opportunity to contribute to a family income, if that was what they wanted to do, just by selling makeup. But she also gave women the opportunity to break through the glass ceiling.
She was an icon, is an icon.
She is an icon, and she rewarded women with the things that women like. And I hate to admit it, even today, what woman doesn't like diamonds? What woman doesn't like cars?
Pink cars.
You know, the furs maybe not so much. I don't know that they're still doing that, but I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate, and she's the one that told me I would have my own makeup line.
She did.
She did. I told her I don't want a makeup line. I said every makeup artist dreams because we see color, but I'm not interested in being an entrepreneur.
Oh, never say never. Never say never.
And she said something's going to happen, and you're going to
and she planned
do it.
That.
And I got skin cancer, and there it was.
So that I think is destined too. You said that you learned from her. Susan, you've had so many lessons, I'm sure, in your business and growth and challenges. What are some of the things that have been lessons learned to share with others?
Well, I think the first thing is, especially when you go into business, you don't know what you don't know.
That's true.
You just don't know. I did it from a place of passion, having no business knowledge. So, and what I didn't know to do was to seek out the person who had the financial knowledge and have the business knowledge, and bring them in as the right person from the beginning.
Like a partner?
Like a partner.
Okay.
Because I do think a partnership is difficult very often, because it is a marriage, but you can find the right partner. And I think in hindsight, it would have been wonderful if I had been able to have a partner, because I would have grown a lot faster.
And the right partner, you said, is the key.
It's a marriage.
To be aligned in.
It's a marriage.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Okay.
So I think that's the first thing. I think if you can find a mentor, because we're young. You know, when you start a business, whether you're young, or you're not young, but you're young in the business world, you need help. You need advice.
And we need to ask, don't you think? Women don't ask like we should.
Absolutely. But you also have to know what to ask.
That's important. How would you find a mentor? How do you find a mentor?
Well, I didn't really find one, but I now mentor other women.
But you had a mentor with the man down in St. Croix.
Right. He was definitely my mentor in the beginning. But when it came to my business, maybe it just looked like I knew what I was doing. So I didn't know to really seek it out, because I didn't think this was going to grow the way it grew.
And here you are, mentoring.
And, you know, the timing was right for Mineral Foundation. Women began to understand it and wanted things more natural. And then it kind of, that sort of like drifted away. But now it's back I hate to say with a vengeance, but it's really back, because young people, they're really particular, most of them, about what goes on their skin, what goes in their bodies.
They are.
They're very particular.
It's a different generation.
Yes, it is.
I have one final question I'd love to ask, which is, what is the silliest thing you've ever done, being such a fun-loving woman?
Oh, dear.
That you can tell. Or fun, silly or fun thing that you've ever done.
Oh, I've just had such great adventures. I think what comes to mind, actually, most recently, was a couple of years ago. There was a big festival that Mick Jagger nicknamed Old Cella. Old Cella, and it was 3 days of just music and fun and laughter. So that's what first comes to mind.
And you went?
Of course I went.
Oh, Okay.
Of course I went. A group of us went, and we had amazing seats, and Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger and the Stones and Neil Young and Bob Dylan and Roger Waters. I mean, it was 3 days, 3 nights, 3 days of just remembering what it was like when I was young and going to festivals and concerts. But I've had just a tremendous amount of wonderful, wonderful experiences, and a lot of them have been fun.
That's great.
Susan, there's some questions regarding the on Facebook, and they're talking about when you're a new artist, how do you set yourself as apart from everyone else, considering that it's so competitive, and the internet, for instance, allows anyone to promote themselves through their on their room and everything. So how do you set yourself apart?
It's actually an incredibly good question. When I was working as a makeup artist, like when I started in New York, there were 12 people really that were doing makeup.
Is that all?
Probably 12 that were working makeup artists. Most people, it was only becoming a job. Now, especially because of social media, everyone's a makeup artist. Everyone can look at a tutorial, they can call themselves a makeup artist. For me, I was able to go into freelance work right away. I never really worked in a store. And working with photographers. And I learned a lot along the way. And I took classes. I took classes in everything from beauty to aging makeup. I did it all.
Learning.
So that I would really understand everything about makeup, prosthetics, all of it. Beauty has always been my love. But today, I have to say, in many ways, it's a lot more difficult. You can become an internet sensation as a makeup artist, and there are hundreds of thousands of those. But if you're serious about your craft, as far as doing more than just faces, pretty faces, you want to go to school, you want to learn, you want to understand about shadow and light, you want to understand about color, and then you want to hook up, hopefully, with somebody who's a very active, successful makeup artist and ask if you can apprentice, which basically might mean carry their makeup bags, carry their hair bags, whatever it takes. I think what's happened today is that people have lost the idea of apprenticeship. That people think I can learn this and I can go and I can do. And really, it takes experience.
You have to put in your due.
You do. Even when you've been given a gift, you have to put in your time and put in your experience. And you want to test with models and try different looks and try even black and white photography and understand shadow and light and understand color, because it's easy to paint a pretty face. It's another thing to be able to make a woman in her 60s and 70s look and feel beautiful. So it's find somebody to hook up with, to connect with.
Keep learning.
And learn and learn. I'm still learning. I work with other makeup artists who work with my line, who I hire to go out and do events. And I see them do little things that I would have never thought to do with my line. And so you want to always be learning and be open to learning, because none of us know it all.
And you can't shortcut it. I think that's one of the lessons that I've learned in my career too, and in image, the image part that I do. I may help the woman dress, but then I'm going to send them to you, makeup artist, to do that part. But the day you stop learning, forget about it. We've got to keep our craft, and it's changing all the time as products change. And so what a stellar career, and
Thank you.
The fact that you're doing all of these things in the community, in the humanitarian part, and you've really got a mission with the makeup, which I think you, like you said, you were destined to do. Susan, thank you for being on the show. I would love for you to share with the audience, other than finding your line in stores or spas or whatever, you shared about going online and giving us little samples if we want to try them.
Yes.
What do we do with that?
My products, we don't really have samples of products. But what we do, and especially with the Color Flow Foundation, because I think that's the most difficult thing for a woman to pick online, is we will send you samples of colors to try. but we ask you 5 basic questions first. Those 5 basic questions make it easy for us to narrow down your color. And the other thing about mineral foundation is it's very forgiving. So most people can wear more than one color. And we do colors for every color.
Every skin color?
Every skin color. I'm a makeup artist. All women need sun protection, and so do men. That's the other product, and children. But all women need sun protection, from the lightest of the light to the darkest of the dark. So we make colors for every woman.
It's a beautiful line, I have to say.
Thank you.
I'm enjoying it. I have some on right now, I have to say.
Thank you.
Susan, you're a role model in the industry, and thank you so
you.
much for having such fun on the show and giving us tips and telling us about the mineral base. And the thing that I learned from you, I thought was most interesting, is that it isn't powder, that it's pigment.
That's
I would
right.
have never thought that what I see is not powder, but it isn't. It's pigment.
It's pigment.
So that was my tip. Maybe that's why I like your products.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much for being on the show. And next month, we're going to have another stellar guest, so you stay tuned. And in the meantime, be sure to stay authentic, be who you are, be open, as Susan said, I think, to opportunities that are maybe right around the corner, and you have to open your eyes and see it, just like this man in St. Croix that said, well, you need to get off the island. I might have said, well, why? I like it here.
Well, that's kind of what I said.
He said, no, you got to get off the island. Be open to those opportunities. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, have fun. It's a great life.
Thanks for listening. To receive Valerie's voice, free monthly leadership tips, and to learn more about her leadership programs and coaching, visit her website, valerieandcompany.com. Next week, we'll be here again to inspire, engage, and equip you with teachable points of view from successful leaders who have been doing it right. Until then, lead authentically.